right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Free. I'm Ryan. I'm the pastor and executive director here. This is Noelle. She is the community director here. Welcome to all of you joining us online. I think we have Free Recovery Community Chicago with us tonight. Woo! Welcome, Chicago. Welcome wherever you're joining us from, whatever state. Sober Living House Treatment Center. We're glad you're part of this community. This is a community for addicts, loved ones of addicts, and spiritual refugees. And what we do here is break the silence of addiction while creating space for healing, recovery, and spiritual connection. And there's always one thing we don't do. You can shout it out on the count of three, all four words. 1, 2, 3.
We don't do shame.
We don't do shame, but Noelle will share with you some other things that we are doing.
Yeah, so if tonight's your first night here with us, welcome. We are really grateful to have you here with us. Get with a home team member or a free staff member, and we will get you hooked up with a welcome bag. And inside this welcome bag, it has a little bit about what we do here at Free Recovery Community. There is some fresh roasted wagon coffee in this welcome bag and just some other free swag items. So grab a welcome bag and know that we are really grateful to have you here with us tonight. Next up, tomorrow we have our community cleanup event from 11 to 2. So we'll just be doing some light gardening and cleaning around for you. We do these once a year just to spruce up the place before spring and summer. And we will be having teriyaki madness here tomorrow.
Teriyaki madness.
We're serving lunch. So come get some community connection and be of service here at Free from 11 to 2. Even if you can only pop in for an hour or so, we'll take it. But yeah, see y'all tomorrow.
And it's supposed to be like 70 degrees tomorrow. For those of you joining us online out of state, 89 degrees here in Denver today, almost like a hot summer day.
Yeah.
Are we clapping for that? I'm happy about it, Mark. Me too. Me too.
Does that mean you're going to turn on the air conditioning?
No, we don't turn on the air in the Canada household till July 1st.
Well, I'm going to put that.
You laugh, but it's true. If I can control it.
We'll save that for heartaches.
Mm-hmm. Tammy's not here.
Poor Tammy. God bless that woman. Mm-hmm. Next up, we will be having a sober it'll be a sober kickball tournament on March 3rd. So this is a Saturday from 10 to 1. So we are going to be against 3 other different sober communities in the Denver area. So TSRA, 12-Step Recovery or Recreation Association, the Phoenix, and Recovery Elevator. So this is a 3-hour kickball tournament. It's just one day, no cost if you would like to register. And gosh, you can get connected with a ton of other sober members in the Denver metro area. So get with me, send me a message or get with me before or after service, and we'll get you on the team. Like I said, there's no cost. We're just going to kick some butt that day. So March 3rd, and it's in Denver. It's in a park in Denver. So the address is on the flyer. So yeah, it'll be a great time. May 3rd. May 3rd.
Not March 3rd.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's May 3rd.
Dang it, May 3rd.
March 3rd was already passed.
Yep, no, so it'll be May 3rd.
Let's do it May 3rd.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll do it May 3rd.
It's going to be all kinds of fun. We're going to win, right?
That's right.
Yes, we're going to win.
If you're not first, you're last.
All right, y'all, we have, Carrie tells me that this is the last week to sign up for the Faith and Recovery 2-Day Summit. So there's a few spots left. This is a 2-day summit we're hosting with leaders from all over the country are coming in for this. And if you know leaders who might be interested, have them sign up quickly. This is the last week to do it. And if you have no clue what I'm talking about, well, here's a little video to explain it.
From almost the very beginning of Free's history, we've gotten lots of inquiries from all over the country. How do you do Free? What do you do? How did you start? I wonder if we could do that here. We still get those questions, and now we're 6 years into this thing, and we've learned a ton. So we're hosting Faith and Recovery, a 2-day summit to explore a new way. Maybe you're a pastor, a faith leader, nonprofit leader, support staff, or some kind of other leader, and you're interested in a new way. You're seeing a need in your community. You see the value of merging faith and recovery. This 2-day summit is for you. April 25th and 26th, right here at Free Recovery Community in Denver, Colorado. Put a team together or come by yourself.
Here's some of what you can expect. You'll hear from different leaders in our community so you can get a full picture of what we do here at Free and how we do it. We'll share the good, the hard, and all the lessons we've learned along the way. You'll hear stories from those who have been impacted by our mission of breaking the silence of addiction. And of course, you'll be sharing with each other stories and insights around your specific mission and location. We'll learn from one another. During this 2-day summit, we'll cover topics such as how to get started, why mission matters, the importance of building community partnerships, how to do fundraising, and how to start small but think big. Some of our meals together are provided by Jeff and his crew at Chef. This local nonprofit is focused around recovery. They do amazing work and create some fabulous dishes. We hope you consider joining us.
This event is capped at 40 people. So if you want to come, we encourage you to sign up early. To register, head over to our website, freerecoverycommunity.com. We look forward to seeing you in Denver in April.
All right, spread the word. If you know anyone else who wants to attend, this is the last week to sign up. All right, y'all, the way we get started here at Free on a Saturday night is with celebrations. We lift up the good. We start with the good. Maybe you're here or you're online celebrating a sobriety anniversary or a birthday or whatever the new thing in your life or recovery is. We celebrate it all here. It's a profound part of our time together to root for each other, to have God join with us in the celebrations. Whatever the new thing in your life or recovery is, new homes, new jobs, new babies, new whatever, we celebrate it all here. So we take 3 minutes for this. If you're online, just drop your celebrations in the Facebook comments or the YouTube comments, wherever you're joining us from. If you're in-house, Matt will have a mic on this side. Renee will have a mic on this side. And all you got to do is lift up your hand and give us the good news. We take 3 minutes, and this time is yours.
I'm Paige, I'm an addict, and I am 8 hours vape-free.
All right, way to go, Paige. 8 hours vape-free. Glad you're here. Congratulations.
My name is Michael, I'm an addict, and I'll be celebrating 18 months clean on Tuesday.
All right, dude, 18 months. Way to go, dude.
Hi, I'm Cody, and I'm going to celebrate my friend sitting next to me. This is her 90th day clean and serene.
All right, 90 days. Congratulations.
Hi, I'm Dre. I'm an addict. I celebrated 18 months clean on Thursday.
All right, dude, way to go, Dre. Congratulations, buddy.
Hi, I'm Sherry, and I'm 35 days alcohol-free today.
All right, way to go, Sherry. Glad you're with us. Happy 35 days. Other celebrations.
Anybody want to make something up?
Oh, there you
Good.
got a hand on that one.
I'm Alex, and on Monday I'll be 90 days clean.
All right, Alex, way to go, buddy. Glad you're here. Congratulations. We have one in the front row here.
My name is Mark Wonder, and today I celebrate 18 months clean and sober.
Way to go, Mark.
Also,
There's
I'm
more.
celebrating the fact that free gives us free naloxone. I took a couple of them on my way to work this morning. I actually had to use it on somebody on the street that I did not know, and was able to get her 911 help, and then they took her to the ER. I don't know how she's doing, but I just want to pray for her. Have no idea who she is, but if it wasn't for the free naloxone, that wouldn't happen this morning. So thank you, free.
Saving lives, brother. Way to go, Mark. Glad you were there.
Ryan Kennedy. Hi, brother.
Hi, Johnny.
It is 7:09 on Saturday, and if you are a recovering drug addict or alcoholic, and you're sober right now, along with me, it's a freaking miracle.
Yeah.
On Saturday.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't ever want to forget that.
Yeah, we'll
That's all I
celebrate
got.
that, Johnny. That's a good word, brother.
Johnny.
Got time for one more. 5, 4, 3. Matthew, you want to join me up here? I can take that from you. Thank you, Renee. Shall we join with our online community?
We shall.
I should take my hat off so we can be ball brothers. Nah, let me put this back on. All right, you go first.
Kayla Weishart said, I am celebrating 352 days sober today.
Way to go, Kayla.
Kayla, great job.
And Sarah says, I finally landed my new job. I started on Monday and is the highest paying job I've ever had in my life. I'm so excited. Way to go, Sarah. We're celebrating with you.
Deb Carlson Ward says, I'm celebrating RFN by making a quick trip to visit my daughter in Seattle. I'll see you there on Tuesday, Deb.
Really?
I'm going to be there.
We'll celebrate, Deb.
We'll look for each other.
All right. Way to go, Deb. And Matt. Monica says, I just celebrated 2 years drug-free on Monday. Thank you, God. Way to go, Monica. Glad you're joining us tonight.
Stephen Sellup says, birthday for my mother-in-law. 100 years and counting. Happy birthday.
Mother-in-law.
All right. That does it.
All right, brother. Thank you for being up here with me, Matthew. You can, I'll take, just set it on the couch here. Hey, I forgot to tell you all, maybe you're aware of this. Next Saturday is our Easter celebration because, well, we do our thing on Saturday night rather than Sunday mornings. And, man, I hope you come next week because it's going to be really cool. We can't wait to share with you this video that's being produced right now. It's someone of our community. I think it's kind of a secret, though, isn't it? It's a secret, so I'm not going to say what it is. But they are sharing from a loved one's perspective. And so we're going to show you this video next week. But then our guest storyteller, Raymond Johnson, is going to be with us next week. Many of you probably don't know him. You could do a quick Google search on him. He was all over national news. Just to give you the very brief before you meet him next week, he was the first one in Colorado to go through the restorative justice program when he was 16 years old back in 1995. They were doing a drive-by shooting. He was in gang activity and addiction, did a drive-by shooting. One of his stray bullets killed a 3-year-old kid. He was sentenced to 2 life sentences plus 51 years, and he was the first one to go through restorative justice. And the mom of that 3-year-old sat with him in the same room, and she took him, Raymond, in as her own son. And he today calls her mom. It's a very powerful story. She's going to be here too. I can't wait for y'all to meet Raymond. It's going to be a terrific Saturday night next Saturday. Hope to see you. But this week, let's talk a little bit about radical generosity. Now, I said this last service, it's worth saying again. Danny Colella is our digital content director. I give him all sorts of freedom to create. When I sent him the theme of radical generosity, I did not say, hey, Danny, give us a Minecraft video. But that's what he came up with, a Minecraft video. I don't know why, but it works, and we're going to make it work tonight. Radical generosity and Minecraft. Thank you, Danny Colella. So I remember the first time I was asked to share my story at a 12-step speaker meeting. After this particular meeting, Mike asked me. He said, in the near future, will you consider sharing your story? And I said to him, man, Mike, I'm going to have to think about that one. And I said, Mike, dude, you got to understand, I'm new in recovery. I'm only a year sober, and I'm still working through the 12 steps. And I've got just a lot of questions around the spiritual, and I don't have all the answers. I don't have things figured out. And my relationship with God might be what you would call a bit shaky. And in that moment, I didn't give Mike an answer. I said, I'm going to have to get back to you. I met with my sponsor later that same week. And I was asking him what he thought I should do. And like he so often did, he just asked me a question. He said, Ryan, do you see your recovery as a gift that's been given to you? And if so, maybe it's time for you to start giving that gift away to others. Yeah, but, and what are the yeah buts? Yeah, but, and I said, isn't it sober time? Isn't it time that's the qualifier? And then I can do it. And if that's your measurement, well, how are you ever going to know if you have enough? And yeah, but, what's the yeah, but? I thought it was spiritual perfection. When I get it all figured out, when I have some answers, then I can share. And again, if that's the criteria, how are you ever going to know if you've made it? Like, how do you know if you've arrived spiritually? So I went back to Mike that next week and I said, okay, I'll do it. And I said, Mike, dude, you got to understand, I'm really nervous. I'm scared because my story up here and in here, it still feels like this jumbled mess, and I don't really know where to start it, where to wrap it up. And he said, no, Ryan, just keep it very simple. Tell us what it was like, then tell us what happened, and then tell us what it's like now. And now I see my life, my recovery, as one big gift, and I didn't do anything great to earn it. I simply surrendered and received the gift. And y'all, I mentioned this to you to remind you, when you make the shift towards seeing your life as one big gift, it will transform everything about the ways in which you live. This mindset shift, and y'all do know it's a mindset shift, this mindset shift will always go against your natural impulse. You see, your natural impulse, it'll creep up, and it tells me things like, man, look around. You built this. Yeah, Ryan, you've built this. Y'all, it's a very dangerous place to be. Natural impulse. Natural impulse will tell me, it'll creep in and say, Ryan, look at your life. I mean, look at your family that you love. I mean, you've built this. And God consciousness or mindset shift creeps in and says, whoa. Really? You built this? I mean, Ryan, do you remember the night your first child was born and you were in the hospital sitting next to Tammy she was laying in bed right after she'd given birth, and you were overcome with fear. The only thing you knew how to do was to get blackout drunk beside the hospital bed because you were scared of being a father. You see, natural impulse will creep up sometimes, and it says to me, Ryan, look around, man. Look at your recovery. 12 years of recovery. You built this. God consciousness, mindset shift, creeps in and says, really? Really? You built this? Ryan, have you forgotten about all the months, perhaps even years, that you spent trying to resist this gift of recovery because you were convinced and you wanted to convince everyone around you that you could do it on your own. You could go into battle on your own. You see, natural impulse, it'll creep up and it'll say things to me like, Ryan, look around at Free. Look at everything that's happening here. I mean, you've built this. God consciousness creeps in. Really? Ryan, have you forgotten about all the people who came alongside and they so freely gave of their time, their energy, their compassion, their resources, their money? And today, y'all, I'm telling you, I see it all as one big gift, and I recognize the value of this gift, and I try to treat it wisely. See, you have to remember the gifts you've experienced, you've been given along the way, because if you forget those things, you will begin living with a scarcity mindset, and you will begin protecting everything that you have because you've built this, you've earned it, and the truth is, with many things in your life, you did work hard for it. You did have to show up, but when you live with scarcity, no one's gonna touch this because I built this. Does it make sense? Do you know, last summer, 2 of our kids, Shiloh and Breck, Shiloh was 11 at the time, Breck was 8 at the time. They went outside on one of those hot summer days, and they set up a lemonade stand. They stayed out there all afternoon, and they sold lemonade from their lemonade stand. They came in after that hot afternoon, and man, they worked hard all afternoon. And they came in, and man, they had this wad of cash, and they were so proud of themselves. I mean, they worked hard for this. And we were in the living room, and I was helping them count their money. I think they made like something ridiculous, like $72 selling lemonade. I'm in the wrong line of work. And here we were counting this money. We get it all counted, and they were so happy. And I said to them, I said, all right, now what I want y'all to do is take a portion of this money. You don't have to take all of it. 10% is a good starting place, but I want you to give some of it away to someone in need, and you can pick this person. Maybe it's an organization. Give it away to someone or some organization in need. And can y'all believe my kids, they started to protest. Yeah, little Shiloh speaks up because she's always got something to say. And she says, Poppy, we worked hard for this money. I mean, we did this on our own. You weren't out there. We were out there in the hot sun all day. Why would we have to give some of this money away? We did this on our own. Really? I said, baby, please do remind me. Tell me, those cups that you were serving the lemonade in, where did those cups come from? And she had a response almost prepared. She says, Poppy, Mom brought us up to the store and she bought those cups for us. And I said, baby, that's what's called a gift. And then I say to Breck, I said, Breck, man, tell me, that jug that you were serving the lemonade in, and the table, and the tablecloth, I mean, where did those things come from? And again, he has a response, almost prepared. And he says, Poppy, we found those things in the garage. And I said, Breck, you do know everything in the garage belongs to me and Mom, and you were able to use those things. That's what's called a gift. And see, they got it, but it took some time. And what I know is you cannot afford to miss the gifts. If you miss the gifts given to you along the way, you will be busy protecting everything you have because you built it and it's yours. Y'all hear it free. We cannot afford to neglect the gifts. We've been given so much. What we have happening here, it's too good not to share. Do you know after the service last week, we had baptism service last week, very powerful. After the 7 o'clock service, Tammy and I, my wife and I, we were standing in the cafe, and a woman came up to us. It was her first time here, and she literally had tears coming down her cheek. And she said something so profound. I got out my phone and I took note of it when she said it, and here's what she said. She said, it's the church's job to shine light in the darkness. Like, duh, everyone knows this. This is how she said it. Like, everyone knows it's the church's job to shine light in the darkness. But not only is Free shining light in the darkness, Free is lighting up the darkest corners, nooks, and crannies. And I'm so glad she saw who we are. And in recovery, we learn this very valuable lesson, don't we? You cannot keep what you don't give away. Do y'all know, since last summer, when we launched our vision, which is 10 new Frees in 10 new cities in the next 10 years, we received overwhelming positive feedback and support. Like, I think you all are excited about this. I think Free Recovery Chicago is excited about this. Launching this fall. I think other cities that have contacted us are excited about this. The leaders that we're going to be hosting in just 2 weeks, I think they're excited about this. And as it goes with anything new that you do, be aware of this. You will always receive critique and questions, and it's okay. It's absolutely okay. But tonight I do want to address one of those critiques, one of those questions that's come up along the way. It was a few weeks ago, we were in staff meeting in my office, and Ben is our facilities manager here. Ben said, hey, I just want to bring something up. A couple of people have come to me and they've asked about our expansion, and they've asked the question, are we doing it for money? And my first thought is, doing it for money? That doesn't even make sense. And your first thought is to reject that question, but it's actually a very fair and valid question. Why is it a fair and valid question? Because how many religious / church scandals can we point to that involve money? Church leaders mishandling funds, or church leaders trying to convince you to give more so that they can go out and purchase and own and fly around in their private jet so that they can go do their work in the world. I mean, we see these things. Churches taking advantage of the poor to build bigger and bigger empires, all in the name of Jesus, of course. And do you know, when we started talking through this vision, there was an afternoon where a few of us were in the staff office. And we were talking about these different cities that have reached out about free, about starting a free. And we were talking about, like, what are the things you must do if you want to carry the name of free? And do we need to get these in a document? And then the conversation turned towards, what should we charge if a city reaches out and says they want to start a free? I mean, what's the compensation? How much money should be charged? And the room went kind of quiet because we're all thinking. And Danny Colella, Minecraft Danny Colella, our digital content director, he pipes up and he says, man, I don't know, what if we just go with the model of radical generosity? And I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute now, Danny, don't get too radical on us here. And be careful those moments, because fear will creep in. Natural impulse will creep in. And I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, man, we started this thing. We built this thing. I built this thing. I don't know that we could just give it away for free. And I said, Danny, what do you mean by radical generosity? And he says, man, we all love this mission so much. We've seen it impact so many people across the country, even in different places in the world. And man, we've been given so much along the way, freely given. And what if we just give the mission away for free? And so we landed on the model of radical generosity. There is nothing to pay. There's no exchange of payment, that we give the mission. We share the mission freely. And if you're wondering what radical generosity is, if you're like me, well, I had to define it. I had to put some words to it. Here's how I define it. See if it resonates with you. Radical generosity will always push you out of your comfort zone. It happens when you choose to show up in love and compassion with no expectations. That's the hard part, isn't it? It happens when you choose to give freely and fully because you realize how much was freely given to you. And my brothers and sisters, as people in recovery, I would ask you, are you living a life of radical generosity? And I would caution you of this. This is one thing to be aware of. Don't begin down the road of radical generosity with an expectation of return, because there's nothing really radical about that. And y'all, here's why I mention that. Because I can't tell you the number of people who approach the God stuff as if it's all just one big transaction. Yes, I will give my time, my energy, my resources, but what's in it for me? What's the return for me? Yes, God, I'll give my radical generosity, but what's in it for me? And if that's your starting place, I can tell you it'll never work, because it starts with the assumption that God needs something from you. And then once you give this something, then God's going to turn around and bless you with all kinds of physical health and money and prosperity and luxury. And y'all do know, one of the most spiritually toxic systems to enter into the Christian church has been what's called the prosperity gospel. Anyone heard of the prosperity gospel? Spiritually toxic. Because see, the prosperity gospel, it teaches that financial blessing and physical health are a sign of God's favor, which really sucks for you, by the way, if you were born in sub-Saharan Africa. It teaches that if you have more faith and you give more money, then God's going to bless you, and God's going to give you the bigger home, the newer car, the better job. And be careful if you get there, because your generosity is still rooted in the same old self-centeredness that totally fueled your addiction. And it has been used to manipulate people, especially the lives of the poor and the struggling. And it says to them, God needs something from you, and once you give it, you're going to get more stuff in return. And if you have very little, I know it can be tempting, but please don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Do you know one of my favorite stories? It's an ancient story, and it comes from this ancient book called Genesis. It's the first book of the Old Testament or Hebrew Bible. And y'all do know, you remember, early humans, they lived under this framework of what's called religious sacrifice. And the thinking was very simple. The gods up there somewhere, these unseen forces, they're either on your side or they aren't. And so the fundamental question for early humans was, what do we need to do? How do we keep these gods happy with us? How do we appease them so that they give to us, they bless us? A simple way to think about it is think about crops. For them, if their crop season was bad, if the harvest wasn't good, well then maybe they didn't sacrifice enough crops last year to the gods. Maybe the gods are angry. Or maybe they need to step up their game and sacrifice an animal so that the gods would be appeased, and then the gods could cause it to rain so that their crops would grow. So in the ancient world, hold on to that, because in the ancient world, God comes along we have this story. God comes to Abraham and says, Abraham, listen, my boy, I want you to take your only son Isaac, whom you love, and I want you to take him up that mountain and sacrifice him, kill him. How does Abraham respond? Abraham does this. Abraham got up early in the morning, like this is no big deal, harnessed his donkey, and took 2 of his young men with him, together with his son Isaac, and went to the place God had described to him. Now, wait a minute. Why didn't Abraham protest even a little bit? Why didn't he freak out just a little bit? Because for Abraham and his people, this is how the gods work. I mean, they just keep demanding more until they finally demand the thing that's most important to you. And once you give that thing, then God is going to bless you. For Abraham, and in fact, most of the ancient people, God was seen as a transaction, just one big transaction. So check it out. They get to the top of this mountain. And Abraham gets to the top, and he builds this altar, and then he places his son, his only son Isaac, on this altar. Had to be kind of a creepy moment. Very awkward for Isaac. The text says that then, once Isaac is laying on this altar, Abraham grabs a knife from his side, and he raises up and stretches out his arm, and he's getting ready to sacrifice his son. And thank God, finally, God shouts out, and God says these words, "Don't lay a hand on the boy." And if you are hearing this story in the ancient world, your question is, what kind of God stops the sacrifice? Well, this God does. This God yells, "Stop. I don't need your sacrifices." In fact, the story ends, if you were to read it, it ends with God providing. And I was taught this story growing up in a church from a little boy, and the way the story was always taught to me was, man, isn't it so great that Abraham was just so faithful? Abraham was willing to sacrifice his own son for God, and isn't that great? He was so obedient. No, this story has very little to do with Abraham, but it has everything to do with a God who says, "Stop. I don't need your sacrifices," and God provides, and it has nothing to do with what you do. God provides because that's who God is. And see, if you are starting down the road of radical generosity and you are thinking or you are hoping that it's a roundabout way of you getting more out of the deal, so you're going to give more and do more so that you can get more, stop. Stop. You can totally step out of that anxiety, that old anxiety-producing system. And I know for many of us in this context, it's difficult because our old God, the God of addiction, what did that God tell us? That God was always shouting the same thing: more, more, more. And this is the way to better life. This is the way out, more. And I hope you hear your new God saying, "Stop." And listen, y'all, I get it. If you stop doing that, then the question becomes, well, then what do I do? And I would tell you that radical generosity, the starting place for radical generosity, is for you to begin realizing how much you've been given and that it's all just a gift. Do you know that Jesus gathered with his closest friends? They were called disciples. And there was this moment where he gave them their life mission. And one of the cool things about Jesus was he was brief. He had some brevity. He gave them their life mission in one sentence, and here's what he told them. He said, "Heal the sick, raise the dead, cure those with leprosy, and cast out demons. Give as freely as you have received. And if you read that and you're thinking to yourself, man, that just seems so distant and I don't really understand it. We don't do these things culturally. I would say to you, really? Really? Heal the sick? How sick were you in your addiction? Raise the dead? You say, yeah, Ryan, that stuff doesn't happen today. Really? Weren't you just a lifeless corpse in need of being raised up to new life? Who were the people that were the witnesses? And you say, man, cure those with leprosy. I don't even know what that means. And those were the people who were totally cast out. They were kicked out of community. No one wanted to be around them. No one wanted to touch them. They were scared of these people, kicked out of community. Weren't you isolated and alone? In need of being restored back into community? And cast out demons, man, that sounds creepy. I don't know how to do that. What's that even mean? Look at your own life. Weren't you filled with the lower spirits, maybe the spirit of vodka or some other drug? You were filled with the lower spirit and they had to be cast out so that you could have a fighting chance at encountering higher spirit. Y'all, if you are a person in recovery, you must understand you have been given a tremendous gift. You were raised from the dead. You get to go to them and give as freely as you have received. And if you're sitting here, you're watching tonight, you're saying, man, Ryan, I think I get it. I think what you're saying is to live with this radical generosity with my time, my energy, my compassion, my resources, my money. But it sounds like what you're saying is my life might not get any better. I'd say to you, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on how you define better. I don't know if you're going to get a new car. I don't know if you're going to get a bigger home, a better job, or I don't know if you're going to get a better physical appearance. I mean, I guess I could ask you what your diet and exercise routine look like, but don't put that on God. But I do know this, I am convinced if you give yourself to radical generosity, it does lead toward a life of happy, joyous, and free. And somewhere along the way, you will stop asking the question, what's in it for me? Somewhere along the way, you will begin pouring into the lives of people because you have compassion, because you have experienced it. And you'll see that it is the thing that changes you when you pour into them. And I'll close with this, because I think it has to be said when we're talking about giving of ourselves. Radical generosity does demand your wisdom. I would tell you it even demands your boundaries. There are decisions to be made. In you giving of yourself with radical generosity of your time, your energy, your compassion, your resources, your money, it doesn't mean that there's never an exchange of energy. It doesn't mean there's never an exchange of money. But what it does mean is that cannot be your starting place. Your starting place is to remember where you've come from and to remember that everything that's been given to you is so freely given. And yes, you showed up. So I would ask you, what mindset shift do you need to make happen? What's the mindset shift that you need so that you can see your entire life as one big gift? What's the mindset shift that needs to happen so that you can live with a radical generosity? Now, maybe for you, you're going to recognize some gratitude in your life. You're going to recognize the gifts that you've experienced along the way. Or maybe for you, you've got to reprioritize your life. There are things you're going to have to give up. You need to kind of start over and simplify your life so that you have time to pour into other people or to give. What are the things you need to give up? And who are the ones who have poured into you? And then ask the follow-up question. Who are the ones you might pour into this week or this month or this year? How will you live out radical generosity? And so what we're going to do now is hear a song. This song is called For All That You've Done. It's by a group called the Rend Collective, and I love their music. I love what they do. Most of you probably won't know this song, but you will certainly recognize the tune. And if you want to just take a moment and just stay seated where you are and take a moment and reflect, I would encourage you to do so. But if you're one of the ones that realizes the value in putting pen to paper, well, I would encourage you, if you want to, we have Post-its up here and pens, and you can write down maybe a starting place of gratitude. Maybe you can capture that in a word or a phrase. Or maybe you can write down what's one thing you need to give up. One thing so that you can give that thing up so that you can have more freedom to do radical generosity in your life. Or what's one person? Who's the one that poured into you? Who was that witness when you were being raised from the dead? Who was that? Or maybe it's one person that you're going to pour into. So we'll take a few minutes. Take a moment and reflect. And take a moment and write and post it to the stage, and at the end of the night we'll pray over these things. This time is yours.
Welcome back. Ryan wanted to play a little bit, Name That Tune. Can you guys name what that song was from? Yeah, right? Right? There you go. There's the name. So anyhow, welcome back. If you do not know who I am, my name is Carrie. I'm the Associate Executive Director here. And every Saturday night, the second half of our service, we always invite a guest storyteller up into the living room to share a little bit of their story surrounding the topic at hand. This week, we are so pleased. We have a guest that's joining us. When Ryan and I sat down and we were trying to think about topics, this topic was, we have the Easter and all the fancy ones coming up in these series, and we had this one-off, and we're like, let's just do something on radical generosity. And we were trying to think of a guest storyteller. And then this person came to mind, and it was just so obvious that of course, this is who we're going to do. And it's because this person truly embodies what it means to be radically generous when you don't have all of the answers, that you can truly start with where you are, with exactly what you have, and you don't have to have all of the answers. You just have to show up with your whole heart, your whole self, and just be willing to be of service in any way that you can. So I'm so proud to call Cody. This guy has just been such a radiant light in this community. He's been here for several months now, but every single week he comes up, he's like, hey, Carrie, I brought someone new. Hey, Carrie, I brought someone new. Every single week, pretty much without fail. And you would just know that he has such a contagious personality, contagious. So I hope you all just get to know him because he is so, so, so kind and generous. Please help me welcome Cody up to the stage. Hi, Cody.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm doing great. Glad to see everybody here on a Saturday night. It's a beautiful night.
Right? Especially when it's been so nice outside right now, right?
Well, it's a little warm for me. I left Texas to get away from the heat, so it's a little warm out there, but it is a beautiful day, and I love Colorado because it's so beautiful.
Well, I'm grateful that you're here.
I'm grateful you're here.
I wanted to start off by a little bit of the backstory that I am guessing that in your story of addiction, that radical generosity was probably not the main focus during some of those years of your active addiction. Can you give us a little bit of a backstory of when times were a little bit darker, and how did that look when you were not as happy, joyous, and free?
So starting out, basically, I had a spoiled childhood, to put it out there, and then I kind of gotten, pushed away, or at least what I thought pushed away from my childhood. Don't see that now. But then I always blamed other people, or blamed life, blamed anybody, blamed God, if you want to say that as well. But I blamed other people besides just looking in the reflection of the mirror and actually being like, hey, maybe I might be causing these problems. And I was very self-centered. I always thought the world revolved around me and it was all about me, it's not true whatsoever. The background was I went through a very spoiled childhood, had that happen to me very, very intensely, and then kind of wasn't spoiled anymore. And I was always like, why? Why am I not getting what I wanted? Why am I not getting everything that I wanted and everything like that? So I finally just kind of was like, nope, I'm not going to go that way anymore. I'm not going to go that route.
And then, so you grew up in a faithful childhood. You went to church, and I know there was a point that you had reached. And I hope your dad is watching. I got to meet him.
He's watching.
I got to meet him last week, so hi. But I did want to say that your dad gave you a tremendous gift, because I know sometimes with addiction, sometimes we edge the God stuff out. We don't really necessarily connect with the same God of our childhood. Can you tell us a little bit about the gift that your dad gave you?
Yeah, so hi, Dad, first off. Me and my father, we grew up in a Christian church, which was Fellowship in Dallas. Also, a great speaker, Ed Young. Want to shout him out. If you don't know who that is, go look him up. He's a great speaker. It feels like he's speaking to you right there in the room, just you personally. But we always went to church on Sundays and stuff. He never quite pushed me, but he was like, we're going to go to church. And I was like, okay, that's cool. And we were driving home one day, and I think this was probably when I was 15, maybe a little bit younger. But I looked at my dad, and I was just like, Dad, I don't know if I believe in God. I don't know if I'm Christian. I really don't think I am Christian, because I always questioned it. I always questioned, who is this guy on this pedestal up there trying to tell me how to live my freaking life? Like, it's my life. Like, why are you trying to guide me in this situation and that when I can make the decision? But as we were driving home, I expressed that to him, and he was basically just like, Cody, I don't care if you believe in God. I don't care if you're Christian. Just have faith. And whatever that faith means to you, hold on to it dearly, because that's going to help you tremendously. And shout out Dad, because it did. Having faith in whatever, as I have found it, has truly allowed me to grow spiritually and become connected with a higher power, or God, as you want to say. And I just cannot express that more. Just have faith and hold on to it dearly, please.
And I want to talk a little bit because last week we had the absolute honor of watching you get baptized in the wagon, and watching your dad be a part of it. And it was just it was a beautiful experience. It's one of my favorite services that we do here. But can you tell us a little bit about why free, and not only why free, but why did you decide to get baptized specifically here?
Yeah, so I actually told my dad when I first started early recovery and I made the decision I wanted to get baptized. I wanted to get baptized in fellowship because it's the church I grew up in. But this place, when I first walked in, and it's actually the rock outside that says we don't do shame. So I found that rock and I was like, okay, what's going on here? I think this place might be right up my alley. And I walked in these doors and I felt the love and the open arms tremendously. And I think I can speak for a lot of other people. I think they've experienced that too. But I felt that deep, deep in my heart. And it really resonated with me. And I really wanted to be able to get baptized also in a place that was not, Christian based, because I wasn't turned off by that. I was. Now I'm not. But Free was such a beautiful, kind-hearted opening place for me that I just broke down, surrendered to it. And I remember Ryan, after he said that we were doing baptisms, I think I ran right up to him after the service and was like, Ryan, I want to get baptized. Like, please, this is the place. This is home. This is absolutely home now for me. And it has become a true, true home for me. And I absolutely love it. So Free, all goes to you because it is home.
And thank you for that, because I do think it takes every single one of us, from Ryan and everything that he does, but also to everyone who comes up and supports each other, because we can't do this alone. And I know that you had said how much that you had gotten from Free, but then that actually led you to take an action. So I know we played the video earlier about the summit that's coming up in 2 weeks, and I was so fascinated when Cody signed up, and I guess in my head I had this preconceived notion that all of these people were going to be from out of town, and they were going to be either from this bigger organization or this church. And then so when I asked him, I'm like, hey, Cody, what made you do this? Like, why are you coming to this? And I had found out of what he was already starting. And so you can see, so his sobriety date was in January. So we're in April.
76 days today.
Right? Which is amazing. And, right? We should clap for that. Thanks for that,
Thank
guys.
you all for that.
And what's so beautiful is what you have taken in that short amount of time. So can you tell us today what radical generosity looks like, and the project that you're beginning right now with where you are on 76 days sober?
Absolutely. So radical generosity to me means basically showing unconditional love, stepping out of your comfort zone, as Ryan had said, but showing unconditional love with just to the fullest extent. And as we say, it's hard to do, but not expect anything in return. You can't expect anything in return with showing unconditional love. So showing that unconditional love is how you're going to be able to truly show radical generosity. And the thing that I created was, the name of it is the Spiritual Sanctuary of Love and Joy. And I wanted to create something to help. I think it was also early in my recovery, I had a lot of people trying to find a higher power, but they couldn't find a higher power. They were struggling to find a higher power. And I'm actually wearing a necklace that has to do with my religion, because I see myself as more spiritual than anything, but I'm Omnism. So I agree and find truth in every single religion, but I don't conform to any one. I don't conform to a single one. And I find truth and belief in every single religion. So I wanted to create something that I could basically guide and give a message of hope to people, and then also receive a message of hope and have them show me like their understanding of faith and what religion or possible religion they would have. But we basically come together in my backyard. Shout out Ryan for that idea, because we just started it and I was like, I don't have a place, but I got a backyard. Let's do it in the backyard. So we actually gather around a fireplace, and I show up and I have an opening speech, which is very beautiful from my understanding. I actually wrote it the first Sunday that we ever did this. I wrote it that morning, and I've stuck to it since then because I've had multiple people tell me how beautiful it is. So thank you for that, and I appreciate everybody that has done that. But we sit around a fire. I go with the opening speech. We have a meditation, and then I play a song, and then I have a topic that we go on. This actually tomorrow, it'll be about gratitude. So that will be the topic for tomorrow. And then we have an open discussion of how you can find gratitude, or what your understanding of a higher power or what your understanding of God is. And then we leave and we have, the whole meeting after the meeting, and we have stuff like that. But it is a beautiful thing, and I'm glad I started it. I do want to shout out my executive producer is right there in the front row. Yes, she is also doing this with me because I cannot do this alone. I have to have unity through this to creation, and it's still blossoming and becoming this beautiful, beautiful thing. And I just look forward to it every single week because of this.
And I really appreciate the fact of you actually really do believe that you can start where you are with what you already have, and that you don't have to have all the answers, and you create the space that you're looking to find. And I wanted to wrap up tonight with a final question to the person who's still out there, or maybe they're watching online, maybe they're sitting in the audience and they're like, yeah, well, I don't have a backyard, or I don't have that thing to offer, and they don't even know where to begin when they just don't see the gifts that they can already start being radically generous with. What piece of experience, strength, and hope would you give them tonight?
I would say that the present moment is such a magical gift. There is nothing like the present moment. Actually, it's called the present for a reason. There is nothing like the current moment that you are in. Know that you are currently exactly where you are supposed to be in this life. And also, I would like to say the way out is a way in. So if you can take a leap of faith, have some faith, and jump out of your comfort zone and start doing something in the present moment that you may not be totally comfortable with, see where that takes you, and I promise you it'll probably take you down a route that you're maybe not comfortable with, but it's going to take you down a beautiful route. And also, if you're feeling like you can't come in here because you got some, just a little scared, please come. I would love to give you a hug. I would love to give you a full smile, and we would love to welcome you with open arms, because we all love you, and I promise you that.
I love you, Cody. Are you going to stick around a little bit after if anyone has any questions, or they want to get connected, or if you're looking for something spiritual to do on a Sunday? Because again, we're here on Saturday nights. But if you wouldn't mind, please giving Cody a round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you, Cody Lovejoy. That was my question to him when I first met Cody several weeks ago, a few months back. I said, dude, no way. Is your last name is really Lovejoy? How good is that? Tammy tells me that last week, one of the most powerful moments. Your dad's watching tonight, right? Say his name for me again. Brian. Yeah. Almost as good as Ryan, but Brian. Brian, I'm glad you're joining us tonight. Tammy was telling me, my wife, I was doing the baptisms, of course, here in the wagon, but Tammy was standing over here, and she said it was such a powerful moment to see Cody's dad, like barely holding it together during his baptism. And sometimes it's just a beautiful thing to be able to fall apart out of joy and love. So I'm glad we were able to do that last week, Cody. All right, y'all, the way and thank you for sharing tonight, brother. Appreciate you, man. The way we close on a Saturday night is with, we start with what we call celebrations, but then we close with heartaches. And we do these because we know that each and every week, some of us, we try to go through this life. We go through this journey with burdens that we're carrying, and we try to do it on our own. Yeah, we're going to convince you we can do this on our own. No, you can't. It's why you have community. It's why we have a God who hears the cries of the people. So if you have a burden tonight and you need some prayer, some encouragement, some lifting up, well, that's what this time is for. We take 3 minutes for it. Again, if you're online, drop your heartache in the Facebook comments or the YouTube comments, whatever platform you're joining us from. Matt and Renee, do you have mics again? Matt and Renee will have mics. Matt will be on this side. Renee will be on this side. All you got to do is raise up your hand and speak that burden into the mic. Let's take 3 minutes, and this time is yours.
My name is Sai. I was helping a young lady who was going through some jail time and scared and needed a place to land when she came out. And I was trying to help this person. And unfortunately, when she came out, she disappeared and she's been on the streets for the last week. So I'd just like to say some prayers for Marissa. I hope that she makes her way back to where she thought she wanted to be.
Yeah. Prayers for her, man. Thank you for lifting her up. Matt, are they able to make stuff up again if they want? Not on this one. Not on this one.
My name is Mark, and I just want to pray for my cousin Denise, her daughter Ray, and her husband Ron, as their son, my cousin, died of an overdose, but was able to give his organs. It's helping 7 different people. But they're really struggling right now, just coming to terms with what happened, and that it was an overdose. And so we're grateful that we're going to be here on the 27th, which is a Sunday at 2 p.m. for Ron's service. Ronnie A. came to the meetings here, and he also used to be a member here at Free. So I don't know if anybody knows him, but if you'd like to join us on Sunday the 27th, we'll be here with this service.
Yeah, prayers for your family, Mark. I know that's been a heavy one. Yeah.
My name is Rocky. Last week I mentioned the Cooper family and their son, who I was trying to help. We carry the message. We don't carry the mess. We try. He passed, and they had their celebration of life today, and their family's in town, and they're mourning, so you put out your prayers. Alcoholism got him.
Yeah. Thanks, Rocky, for sharing that with us, lifting them up, and you.
Hi, Cody here. Let's all pray for the suffering addict and the suffering alcoholic still out there, please.
Yeah, thank you for that, Cody. And for this community that knows all too well the devastation, destruction, and death of this deadly disease of addiction. I know we're faced with it a lot here. And prayers for all of you going through it right now. You coming back up here with me?
Yes, sir.
All right, Matthew.
Sir, yes, sir.
All right. You want the first one?
Elizabeth Marie Lott says, I am so sad to not be in person for tonight's service. Please pray for me as I've had a medical emergency. Shout out to PLR. Elizabeth, you are in our prayers, and sorry we're missing you tonight.
Yeah, the PLR is Palmer Lake Recovery. There's usually a big group of you here at the 7 o'clock service, so prayers for you, Elizabeth, and all your people. Kayla says, prayers for a coworker who came to me struggling with alcohol. I ask for prayers for myself that I can radically pour into him and give support and time to help point him in the right Direction. What a great prayer, Caleb. Praying for you. Radically pour into that person who so desperately needs it. Glad you're there and glad you're clean and sober. Thank you, Matt, for being up here with me. Well, listen, y'all, if you have been impacted by the mission of breaking the silence of addiction and creating space for healing, recovery, and spiritual connection, well, you should know that we rely upon, if you call this place home, if this is your people, your tribe, we rely upon your radical generosity here. We are funded by you, the people. Thank you, online people. I know some of y'all have never stepped foot in this place, and yet you still call this place home. And you give, and it makes a big difference here. We are truly grateful for your giving. For those of you that have made this a part of your life, you made it a spiritual practice. You made it a sacrificial practice in your life. It truly makes a difference here. Without it, we don't exist, simply put. If you'd like to donate tonight, there's a few different ways you can do it. You can jump on your phone and download the app, Free Recovery Community. It's free to download. All of our content's on the app. There's a giving button you can give one time, or you can set it up to do weekly, monthly, however you want to do it. We're grateful for all of it. Or you can go straight to the website, freerecoverycommunity.com, and you can give there. Or for you cash and check type people, there's a giving kiosk just outside of these doors and one outside of these doors. And if you want to give that way, well, we're grateful for that too. Thank you so much for being a part of giving here at Free. It makes a big difference. Shall we go out with a prayer? Yeah, I think we should. I would encourage you to just open up the hands. Ain't no magic in open hands. It's just a simple sign of openness. Maybe even want to hold hands with the person next to you, as one row here is doing. Yeah, just take a big deep breath. Be reminded of the gift and gifts in plural that you've been given. What a tremendous gift. You and your life, your recovery. If you don't know the Lord's Prayer, it's a pretty simple prayer. It's on your screen, and we'll pray it together. And it goes like this. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Grace and peace to you all. See you next time.